you can previously you need to install Maven separately, Gradle separately, and then you wanted to go back to your command prompt, set all these particular paths, and then you can verify this. But nowadays, what it was happen is with the Eclipse itself, by default, Maven and these particular Gradles, all these particular build management was default, it was coming for us. And what is the advantage and disadvantage of this one is, so now if you wanted to execute any particular Maven projects, you can directly trigger from the Maven and then it can be executed. But if you wanted to execute it from the command prompt, it will be not done because you didn't set the home path or you didn't set the binaries to execute it. See, why we set Maven underscore home or M2 underscore home, and then why we set the path? Actually speaking, you are using now, what is the version you installed? What is the version you have been installed? Go to your command prompt.
Windows 7.
3.8.5.
3.85. See now in the here you can see it in the command prompt. Now you open that command prompt, right? Terminal screen. This window, this window, this window. Click on this window.
Okay.
Close this one. Open. Click on it. This one. Click on it, Amma. So this one. Yes. Click on this.
Yes, sir.
Click.
Click చేశాను, sir.
You click on this here. Click there. Not on here, Pramila. Click on here. Here you need to click.
I'm not seeing where you are seeing, sir.
Okay, fine. Stop sharing the screen. Prema, share the screen. See, now when you have been seen this, so now here you are there, right? So now here you have been clicked it. Now you can see it 3.8, 8.5 version. Now we are at the Maven 3. Why this M2 folder means at that point of time, it is Maven 2. And it need to support the backward compatibility. So because the projects, when you created the project, I created the project at Maven 1. Maven 1 is nothing but your first version. Maven underscore home, first version. M2 underscore home, this is second version. And now we have been 3, right? Now for 3, we need to keep M3 underscore home, not really required. What you have done is, if you go and set the things in the path level, that would be enough. You went to path and then you given till bin folder, right? That is enough. But to support your backward compatibility, we said that Maven underscore home, M2 underscore home. So these particular paths we have been set. So now we know that, and from the command prompt, now we can execute all your projects because you set your path. So that's the reason once you set your path, it is easy for you to execute wherever you wanted. That is what the advantage of this. Got it? Any questions? Now, let me, now we see, now all this time what we have been seeing is how to install Maven and how to configure Maven. Two things we have been discussed. One is installation and one is configuration. Now, what we wanted to do is we wanted to create a Maven project and then proceed further. Okay, let's go. Go to the Eclipse. Now in the Eclipse, now we'll come back here, right click and go and create a package. Now here, if you see here, now if at all you are not able to see the Maven, so once after installation, you should be able to see the Maven. If it is not there, you can type and filter here and you can search over here. Type Maven. See, by default, the Maven will comes for you. And you'll be selecting the Maven project. So that is what the Maven project you're selecting it. Select this, click next. And once you have been selected this one, use the default workspace location. So now you wanted to create this particular project in the default workplace. Where is your default workplace? Uses Ashwin and Eclipse and the Maven project. So this is the project name, which it was by default, it was coming to. But what I wanted to do is, I don't want to do it in this. I wanted to create my own archetype. What do you mean by archetype? Just select now this one. Yes, this is the most important thing. Okay. Now you can change any means any particular archetypes. First of all, we will be understanding what you meant by archetype. Click next. So now here, the first one is group ID, artifact ID, version, packaging, name, description, and all these things are there. Now, what I'll try to do is just click on this group ID. Group ID, group ID. Okay, so now these are the two things which we have been created. Okay, come back, come down. Archetype, artifact ID. Okay, which you have been created for this one. Now, what I would suggest you is, okay, when it comes to the group ID, what do you meant by group ID and what is meant by artifact ID? It was saying that group ID. What do you meant by group ID means? For an example, I have multiple banks in India. So banks like ICICI and HDFC and Axis, City. So these are the banks, blah, blah, blah banks we have. Now, all these things are ruled by some core bank, which is called as RBI, Reserve Bank of India. So now under this particular bank, or you can say that banks, I have these multiple things, right? Now for, see now one thing is common for all. What is that common? We deposit the money, we take back the money. We can have savings accounts and then other accounts. The rate of interest would be vary from different bank to bank, but the core business is same, right? So now under this particular core business, I'll be having ICICI, HDFC, and this all. Now the same way, I have vehicle groups or motor vehicles. Motor vehicles, all the car companies, right? I'll put it as car companies. Now I have multiple car companies in India. Now I have Maruti Suzuki, and I have Kia, and I have Honda, and I have Hyundai. Like this, I have a lot of car companies out there. Now these all things are cars, but they are under the motor vehicles. It would be there. Now if you see here, now this is one group, and this is one group. So now group ID is nothing but it consists of multiple projects which are similar to it. Now you remember, right? Grouping in test engine. The same way, the group ID is specifically given for a particular group, and that group will have similarities. Now here, it's all things are banks. Here all things are things. I can't keep this particular Hyundai company in the banks, right? Or I can't take HDFC and keep into the motor vehicles. This group is different and this group is different. The functioning of this group is different. The functioning of that group is different, right? So that is the reason you need to understand the group IDs are nothing but this is what the group IDs. Group ID should be unique. And the artifact ID also should be unique. So now this is ICICI project. This is HDFC project. And here it is Honda project. And this is Hyundai project. So those are the artifact group ID and the artifact IDs. So you are grouping certain entities, you're grouping certain artifacts, and then you are trying to use it. So that is called as a group ID and an artifact ID. Now, for getting this particular artifact ID, there are some artifacts are there. So how to get that particular artifacts? Click on this advanced. Okay. Go back, click back. See, now here you can skip the archetype selections also. What is this archetype? Let's see now. Okay, creating a simple project. Now we will try to see how to skip or what is this particular archetype further. I just wanted to show you this. Okay, now click on next. Now you give the group ID as banks. You give any bank name. Okay. And name, you can give it as give some, not from the HDFC, you can give something like a banking sector. Why? Because you should know how this will be created, right? So that's what I just wanted to let you know. Sector names always should start with the capital letter. Keep that one as a name, capital. Banking sector. I didn't explain about this version, and then the jars packaging. So how you wanted to package this one, which is what we said it is jar. And I'll talk about this version and snapshot later. So first understand group ID, artifact ID, and name and description is it's a banking normal account. You can say that account maintenance. Just if you given different things, you can see when the form.xml file created for you, you can see all these informations. So that's the reason I just wanted to show it to you. Okay. Now get finished. Now, as soon as you've seen it, the HDF, you seen it, right? The name which you have been given it for artifact ID. Now, artifact ID name is what your project name. Okay, just click now HDFC. Now, if you see here, it created with main resources, test resources. See now these two folders are related to main and main resources, test and test resources. Now you got your form.xml file. Can you click on your form.xml file? You see here, name of the particular project, it is coming as banking sector, and description, it is coming it as account maintenance of your bank. The artifact ID is what you are seeing here, and group ID is here. Now artifact ID is what your project name. If you change your project name here, the project name should be changed here. Multiple people do this mistake. Now what you need to understand is, whatever the name which you will be giving it in the artifact, that would be your name of your project, and this should be unique. Got it? Now this is what the default project you have been created it. Now I told you, right, this JRE system library. So now first of all you need to understand the folder structure of the Maven. Now the folder structure for this Maven is the first of you need seen it, right? Main resources, test resources. Why it has been created in this particular pattern? Because I told you, right, Maven is specifically designed from the development point of view. Now the developers will write their development code. So that is what main source code. And for that particular main source code, they might have some dependencies to pass some data or something else they need to pass it. The resources, for an example, they wanted to get some images or anything they wanted to keep. So those things, they will keep it into the resources folder. Main code will be available here and resources code will be available here. Now, this is for testing. From the developer point of view, what type of testing they will do?
Unit testing.
They write all the unit tests here, and then they pass the particular test data of this particular unit test from here. So that's the reason they have segregated into these 4 folders. And this is a Java project. Previously you've seen it, right? This is a Java project. It was only having J. Now you will be having it as MJ. Means it's a Maven Java project. So now always you remember that whenever there is a Maven, so there is a small m here. And then here you will be seeing it, right? The sources test hyphen resources. And here you can see it as JRE library. By default, as soon as you created the with Java project, so by default, it will be created with this particular library. And this is a target folder as this is a Maven project. And then this is a form.xml file. Now, what we need to understand is, where is Maven dependencies? How should I add that particular Maven dependencies?
Maven central repository.
See now,
add the form.xml file, automatically it comes to Maven dependency.
A folder is created as Maven dependence.
now just first we will see what are the things are available. Right click on the HDFC and go to the build path. and add the libraries. See, Maven managed dependencies is there, but what dependencies you wanted? Click next. What dependencies you wanted? Finish it off. What dependencies you wanted it? Did you mention it? No, you didn't mention it. What dependencies you want? See, you created the project. You didn't mention what dependencies you wanted. Then how these particular dependencies would be added here? So what next you need to do it? You need to add the dependencies to the project so that it will be getting for you. Can you open? This is a Maven project, right? Open this Maven project. So here also you just created this pattern. Not you didn't added the dependencies. Okay, who added dependence? I think I seen it in.
Sir, I added another
Yes.
Dependencies.
this one, sir.
Yes, yes.
Distance.
Okay, so now what you have did it. Now if you see here, this is what your project, right? This is what we just created. Now what we have done, see the same. Now cut down from the 7th line till 16th line, copy. Means what we are trying to do. Hey, how I need to get this dependency stack? Okay, so first copy. Now what we let's do, yeah, after description. First of all, you'll be having, okay, how you need to do it is dependency tag. You delete this one. No, delete this one. Line number 9 to 14. Okay, now you see here, this is what the tag we need to add. Dependencies means I wanted to add some more dependencies to the project. So this is the opening tag and this is the closing tag. Now what all dependencies I wanted to add it over here? What is the syntax to add these particular dependencies? I told you yesterday, go now, click on, go to the Google and search for the Maven central repository. Click on the central repository. Search now for the test-ng. Now click on the test-ng. Either ways you can click it. So now now the latest version, you can see it. What are the latest versions? Okay. Now in the click back. So you can see that this is 7.6. X means 0 to 9. So for an example now, 7.0.x. Now you can see it, right? 7.0.0 beta 2, beta 4. Now these are the X versions, but these are at 7.0. Now you see 6.14.x. So 2, 3. Always you remember, these are soft upgrades. These are hard upgrades. Hard upgrades means 6 to 7 is a hard upgrade. Soft upgrades means like a 6.3, 6.4, 6.13, 14, 15. So these all are soft upgrades. Soft upgrades are, there will be no big differences, but there are some changes, some bugs and issues, they have been fixed it. So now you're using your Ola app, Swiggy app. So day by day, every day, they will fix some issues and they will push it. So now they will give this one as a soft upgrades. This is the hard upgrades. Now you have Windows 8, Windows 11, now it's coming to the market. So that is what the basic differences you need to understand. Now, if you see here, now you've seen this is your 7.60 version, right? Click on this. Now, this is the latest version we wanted to take it up. So as soon as you have been taken this, now you copy this particular, this is what the dependencies. Okay. Click it, Control C, now copy it to the clipboard. Yes, now you go back here and you can paste it over there. See, now Control Shift F. Now, if you see here, you can clearly see that we are creating this particular file. Now, what we have been done, we created this dependency stack, and into the dependency stack, we have dependency because it's a plural. Now, I have multiple dependencies that will come under the dependency stack. Now, this is a single. So that's the reason it is dependency. It is dependencies. Previously, classes, class, same way here, dependencies, dependency. Now, what I wanted to do, hey, this is from org test-ng, and this is what the artifact ID, this is the version, and this is the scope. So you forgot about this one. We'll talk about later. So these are the 2-3 things. Now, what I need to do? See, as soon as you've seen it, I just added this particular thing here. Previously, if you observe, there is no dependency folder here, right? Now you click on this. See, it got 7.60 version. Now, what I wanted to do, I wanted to go for central repository and add multiple plugins. Now go for central repository and get that Selenium. Click on search for Selenium group. You can see the latest version of Selenium is 4.2.1. Okay, click on this, copy. If you wanted, you can go here, edit. You can format there. Where is this? File. What's your version? Why I'm not able to see that? Format would be there, right?
So directly, if on the pom.xl, if we go for click on that, we'll get for source and format here.
Okay, fine. So anyways, now what you can do, so now these jars are updated. You see here. You see here. It's uploading. 15% over. See, previously it is only having with the 4 jars, which is 7.6 test ng. Now, whatever the things it's required, it is getting uploaded. You need to wait till this completed. So this is how you create a Maven project, and then you can once after creating this particular Maven project, the data should be updated back. Any questions here?
So
Now what I wanted to do is, now I created the pom.xml file. I added the dependencies. Now from this particular file, I need to, means now testng installed. You have your testng class created, right? I add all my annotations at the rate of test. Write something. Okay, create a project. In this project, this should have testng. Create this one Maven project. And in the Maven project, I should have testng. What I wanted to see is from pom.xml file, I need to trigger the testng.xml. If you're able to trigger the testng XML, you can able to trigger the testng class, and you can execute the details and get the output. Do this and then come tomorrow. Okay, add multiple dependencies like this, and from this particular dependencies, and you should use some plugins. Use that plugin from pom.xml file. You need to trigger the testng XML. From testng XML file, it need to trigger the testng class files. And from the testng XML files, you would be executing the code and then you'll be getting the output. So this is what you need to do. Okay, to recap what we have been discussed today. So we have been started with discussing installation of Maven. And we have been discussed the configuration of the Maven. And then we have been created one particular project, and we have been seeing the folder structure. And then we have been discussed about the pom.xml file and how we can add the dependencies. And you can change the versions and update, degrade, upgrade, what are the things you wanted to do, you have been done it. So these are the things which we have been discussed today. And tomorrow what we are going to discuss is, we're going to discuss about, hey, how this particular pom.xml file will trigger these XML files or the files. Means now what we have done, generating of the sources we have been done. Now what we need to do, we need to compile the code, we need to execute the code, we need to generate the results. So these are the steps which we wanted to do it for tomorrow. Okay, if you see the videos, then practice, then only you can answer me, or else you can't. Go back, see, and come back for tomorrow's session. That's it for the day. Any questions? Thank you. Have a great day. See you all tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.